Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we will going to learn the store procedure, which is one of the important topic in SQL. So let's discuss the agenda of today's video. We will going to focus on the introduction of store procedure. Then we will going to see what are the benefits of store procedure, what are the syntax of store procedure. We will going to see the simple example. We will also see the example with parameter and example without parameter. So these all are the topic we will going to cover in this video. So before we start with the topic, if you are new to my channel, I would request you to please subscribe my channel because it will give us a lot of motivation to create a new videos for you guys. So hence, please subscribe my channel. And you can hit a like button if you like this video. And I would suggest you to please share this video to the maximum people who want to learn the SQL because I'm teaching the SQL technique in very simple words. Okay. So without any further delay, let's move on to the topic. So the first topic is introduction of store procedure. So the imagine you are the chef with the secret recipe of signature dish. Instead of sharing the exact step with every customer, you write down the recipe once and give it to your kitchen staff. They follow the recipe to prepare the dish for your each customer. So this is a similar to the store procedure in MS SQL. So it is a pre-compiled set of SQL statement that perform a specific task. You write down the procedure once and store it in the database. Then whenever you need to perform that task, you simply call the procedure name. Okay, so now we will going to mention the benefits of the store procedure efficiency. So this is one of the very important benefit of store procedure efficiency. You will save a lot of efficiency because it is a pre-compiled code, that is executed faster than the individual SQL statement. Now we're going to use the reusability. So the code that you have, the procedure that you have written, you can use number of time in the number of SQL statement that you want to use. Okay. Now the security. So security in terms of like you can create a role and you can create a access, and you can provide that particular access to the individual those you want, to share that particular procedure. And if you want to restrict that access to the other individuals, you can simply, deny that access to that particular individuals. So that is from the security point of view. Modularity means the store procedure is baked down the very complex task into the smaller one, which the other person can easily read and understand. Suppose you left the organization and other people want, take your position, so they can learn your, the written procedure very easily. So it's basically divide and, into the manageable unit. So that is what the modularity is. So now this is the syntax of this store procedure. So first we will start with this keyword like create procedure, and then we will mention the procedure name. So the procedure name can be anything, but it should be relevant to what you want to achieve, right? So, and you can mention the parameter like data type, and the parameter with the data type, it is very important. For example, if it is an integer parameter, you have to mention the data type for that. And if it is like the varchar character, the input that you want to provide is a varchar, then you have to mention the data type. You can also place the default value, but it is a optional. That is up to you if you want to do that. Then we have a as. The as is a keyword indicating that the start of the procedure body. And then we have a to begin and end. This is basically the block delimiter for the procedure body. And you will write all your procedure into the middle of the begin and end. Okay. So let's see the example. Let's say you want to create a store procedure to retrieve the customer information based on their ID. So you would write a procedure like this. Okay. So what I will do, just to save a time, I'll just simply copy paste the procedure, so that we don't have to waste our time in writing the procedure. So first I'll show you the table. So here we have a table which has customer ID, customer name, customer email, and customer address. So the procedure that, we will write is first we will mention the procedure name, that is a create procedure. And then we will mention, the procedure name over here. So this is my procedure name. And here it is a input parameter for that. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put this in the bracket. Okay, so this is we have to start with and. Okay, so just remember any parameter, that variable and parameter, we have to start with the @ symbol. Okay, and then we will start with as to begin, and we will mention begin and end. And in the middle of this, we will write the syntax. So what we want, the syntax is select the customer name. So we want this column, from this table, and where the customer ID is equal to this. So the whatever parameter we will provide here, it will going to look this parameter over here, and it will filter the record. Okay, so in order to create, I just write create and alter. Okay, and then I will execute this store procedure. So this store procedure is successfully, created. And where you can see, you can just see it over here. You can just go to programmability, in the database, because we are using the master database. So here in the master database, we can come to programmability, and in the store procedure, we can see, the procedure that we have created, that is a get customer info. In order to call this procedure, what we can do is we can just write a syntax like execute, and we have to mention the customer info. And here we can mention the parameter. For example, I want to put customer ID 2. So if I execute this procedure, you can see that, the Ratan is, has the customer ID 2. Okay, so if I put 1 over here, you can see the one is Sahu, in the table that we have saw. So I can just show you the table again. Just, the first is Sahu and second is Ratan. So that is what we are getting. So this is a simple example that I want to cover. Now let's focus on the one example without parameter. So this was a very simple example. I don't think so this you will get in your real-time industry. So in the real-time industry, we will do some, the little complex SQL procedure, right? So the scenario is, this is a scenario in front of us. Like, assume that we have a two table, product and sales table. The sales table is contain the transaction detail, and product table contain the stock balance remaining. The stock balance details, meaning how much stock is remaining in the store. We want to create a procedure wherein if we will sell, this product, in the sales table should be add those transaction details, and the product table should reduce that particular balance, whatever whatever product quantity we have sold, so that particular quantity has to be reduced in the product table, and in the sales table the transaction has to be added. So I hope you understand the scenario. Okay, so let's see how we can, I'll just open the new query. First, create a table product. Okay, so this is a syntax to create a table. Here, I'll just change the database. Here I will create it in the my database. Okay, and if I execute this, okay, so this table is successfully created. Now I'll create a sales table. So this is my sales table. Just create successfully. So this is also created successfully. Now I will add the value in product table. So this is a syntax for that. So I'll just add this value to the product table. So it is added. For now, we will just add only the one record, in the product table. But in the sales table, I'll add, three transactions. So basically, this is the transactions. Okay. So if I execute the start from products, so I can see there's one record inserted in product table. Same, I can see it in sales table, whether I can see it or not. Yeah, so we have a three record inserted over here. Okay, so these are the two tables. So I'll just explain you the table detail that we have. So here we have an item code as a S1, item name as Maruti 800. We have a price, stock, item in the stock. So this is the stock that we have. Okay, 120 balance we have. An item that we have sold, like 87 item we have already sold, and the remaining stock that we have is 120. Okay. If I show you the sales table, which is my transaction table also. So we have executed the three transaction, on these three particular days. The item that we have sold is S1, the quantity that we have sold. So what our procedure will do is, whatever quantity we will sell, okay, so that particular quantity has to be added over here, with the price and with the product code. And then in the product balance, that, whatever we will sold, that particular quantity has to be reduced from the stock, the item in a stock. Okay, so that is what we want to achieve. Simply write a procedure over here. Okay, just to save a time, and I'll explain you the syntax of this. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm just writing the create and alter procedure. Okay, and I'm just mentioning the the procedure name, that is a purchase product. Okay, I'll start, as key and begin and end statement. Okay, so in the middle of these two, I have to write my entire procedure. So first I have to declare the variable. Okay. So the variable, I'm just mentioning the at the rate. We have to start with the at the rate symbol. Okay. So we will just mention the variable item code. Okay. And variable price. Okay. So here we have to put the data type of the book. Okay. If you're putting the var we have to mention, how much quantity we have. If you are not putting this, it will give us an error. So make sure we will put this. Okay. For integer, we don't require that. Now we will put our select statement over here. So over here we want, the item code. So we are just putting this variable. equal to item code and where price equal to price. Okay, so this is my variable that we have, okay, from the product table, and where the item ID is Maruti 800 because we have only one product, that is Maruti 800. So this is our select statement. And after selecting this, we will insert the value. Okay. So we will insert the value in the sales table. Okay. As I said, we will insert a transaction. So this is the column that we have in the sales table, and the values that we want to achieve, achieve is we are putting a get date. So get date is nothing but it will give you the today's date. Okay. And cast is nothing but we are assigning, the data type as a date. Okay, so get date is basically it will give you the today's date, and the cast is basically to provide a data type as a date. Now for item code, right? So item code, we have already created a variable for this. So item code over here. So this is the item code that we will put the variable over here. The quantity, I'll just mention one quantity over here. Okay, for now, and the price, right? So for the price, sale price, what I'm doing is the variable that we have defined, we will take that and we will multiply with the quantity sold. That is one. Okay. So here we have created the insert, and then we will update the product table, because in the product table we also want to reduce the stock item in a stock, right? So how we can do that? So we need to update the product table, and we have to set the item in a stock equal to item in a stock minus the number of units sold, that is one. Okay, item sold, because it should be increased by one because we have sold this item. And now we will put a where condition to filter the record. Okay, so the item code equal to this. So we will end the statement. Now, if I execute this statement, then you can see if I execute it. So it is successfully executed. Okay. In order to call the procedure, we have to mention execute. We have to mention, this name over here. And if I execute this one, you can see the two rows has been affected. Okay. So if we select the product table, you can see it was 120 and now it is 119. So stock in quantity has been reduced with the one. Okay. And now we'll see the sales table. It should add the transaction table over here. So you can see, the transaction one has been updated over here. Okay. So this is a simple procedure that, without parameter. Now we will going to see one more example, which is, with parameter. Okay. So let's see how it will be. So first we will going to use the same table, okay, for this one also. The scenario over here is, here we are using the same table, but with the increase in the transactions in product as well as in the sales table. Here we also want to implement a control to check the item in a stock balance, meaning the quantity order is less than the stock remaining, then procedure should execute. Otherwise, it should throw an message saying that insufficient quantity. Okay, so assume a real-time scenario, right? So if you don't have the stock in your godown, how can you sell the product? So that is what we want to achieve. Okay, so if we don't have a sufficient balance in our in a stock in hand, right? So we will just give a insufficient balance, and if we have that particular quantity in our stock, we will sell that particular project. Okay, so along with the procedure, we will also give the message, if we have a product sold or if we have a insufficient quantity. Okay. So now you can see that we have a product table, which has product S1, S2, S3, S4, and we have a transaction table as well with a more number of record. Okay, so as I explained you the scenario, what we will going to do is we will write a procedure to that. Okay. So this is my entire procedure. So here I will just explain you the procedure. Here we want to, write this, create or alter the procedure name. And here we will give the parameter. So we will start with @ and I'm just for parameter, I'm mentioning the para and I'm giving the parameter item name varchar and I'm mentioning the data type over here. Okay. Now I'll start with as begin and end statement. Okay. And then, so here we have declare the variables over here. And then we have to put this syntax, in order to identify whether how much, the number of parameter that we are putting. So that's why variable count equal to, we will take the count, from the product. where the item is parameter name and parameter quantity. Okay, so we want to identify how much parameter we are getting. So this is for that syntax. Okay, and then we will implement the if statement. So if the count of variable is greater than 0, then we will, this is a similar syntax that we have used, the without parameter. So this is a similar syntax that we have. Here we are inserting, the data, and here we are updating that. Okay. So if we have like the greater than 0, the count is greater than 0, then we will get a message like product sold. And if it is if it is not a greater than 0, then basically we will get an insufficient quantity. Okay, so that is what this procedure is doing. So if I execute this procedure, you can see that I execute this. So this is now successfully executed. And if I put execute, and if I put this name, sorry, this is that, execute, put this, and we have to mention the parameter name. So I'll put Maruti 800. So this is my first parameter. Okay. Second one is a quantity. So I'll put 10. So if I execute this, you can see it is successfully, it is saying if insufficient quantity. Okay. So let's see how much balance we have for this. Okay. For Maruti 800, we have only 5 items and we are putting 10, right? I think we are putting, how much we are putting? We are putting 10. So we have item in a stock 5 and we are asking for 10. That's why it is giving us insufficient balance. Okay, insufficient quantity. If I put, for example, 4, so this should execute it. So you can see the one row affected, one row affected. If I show you both the tables, okay, so you can see that the balance is dropped to 5 to 1 because we have sold one, and here one transaction is added. Okay, so this is how we can use. So if you go to the syntax, basically we are using a parameter. Here in the item name we are using a parameter. Okay, if you put whatever parameter we will put. Okay, here we are just giving the condition, if condition, and over here also we are using the variable and parameter. Okay, this is similar. If you go to the syntax, in the detail, you will get to know what exactly we have done. Okay, so this is how we do the SQL and with parameter. I hope you understand the logic. If you have any question, any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. I would be happy to respond you back. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching this. Have a nice day.